Hello everybody, we are back again. Thankfully, as Jasper pointed out in the chat, I managed to recover all of the work that we lost last time when Photoshop crashed. Thankfully there are like backup saves, so I brought it back in, merged all together, everything is good. I think the only thing we really lost was the wood grain along here and the drawing of Beatrice in the window frame. Yeah, Control S, I see it. We'll remember this time. Music could go down just a hair. You guys were saying it's too quiet. Okay, there we go. And I see that you guys are having a lot of really big feelings about today's page in the chat, which is wonderful because that's what we like to see. Oh, music could go up just a hair. Sorry, I misread that. See if that's better. If it's too loud, I can bump it back down. My opinion is that everyone is doing what they can with the information experience they have to draw from. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Okay. Well, let's just jump right in again. We're pretty much all finished with this upstairs section, so we'll start cleaning up down here. I think I actually want to bump the opacity down just a little bit more. Yeah. These two, I barely want to see these perspective lines. That's better. Never mind all the massive red flakes the king was dropping. Yeah, he was dropping a lot of red flakes today. I don't know if I would classify him as a straight up villain, because, you know, characters are complicated. But to each their own. The comic is very good. Thank you, Penguin. That's nice to hear. Okay, let's jump right in. I don't know when exactly I'm gonna be able to show Russell's room in the comic. I mean, it might never come up. It probably will eventually, but it's hard to say. At the very least, it's fun to design and think about. And if it makes you guys feel better, the next page, I think it's the next page? The one that went up onto Coffee today, so yeah, the one that goes up next week onto Webtoon, is a lot lighter. It's not as intense, and it's a bit funnier, you know? It's no longer about them getting in trouble. But yeah, great job, Marshall and Jasper. I do love well-written stories, characters that evoke strong emotions. Thank you, that's very nice to hear. The credit for writing goes mostly to Jasper. He's the one who takes what I write and makes it infinitely better. Is it just me, or the comic kind of reminds me of Zootopia? That makes sense. I mean, it's an animal-based society, and the two main characters are their versions of cops, so that's not a crazy parallel to be making. That is one reason why we went and we watched the second one when it came out, was because I want to make sure I'm avoiding things that they were doing in the movie, even if it's unintentional, because we don't want it to be too similar to Zootopia and make it look like we're ripping it off. And yeah, Russell's gonna be in the next page as well. That goes up next week. Or it's on Coffee Now if you want to get a sneak peek. We weren't sure if this stream was going to be the 200k stream. It was getting really close. I think we're about 300 subscribers away. So most likely next week is going to be our 200,000 stream. And at the moment we're thinking of playing Minecraft. But we're still brainstorming, so if you have any fun ideas, feel free to throw them out there. Minecraft multiplayer. We're going back and forth on multiplayer, but we are thinking about it. I am a little concerned that my laptop won't be able to handle running Minecraft and streaming at the same time, but we'll see. It's fine, just buy a NASA computer and you can run anything. Maybe one day when we have the funds. Eventually, we would like to make a nice PC setup. On a lighter note, I envision Hazel having a slightly nasally voice, not overly so, but she just seems the type. That's fair. I definitely picture her having a kind of distinct voice. Not like to the point that it's like an annoying voice, but I don't know. For a while, yeah, just like Jasper just said, I pictured her with the voice of like Robin from Stranger Things, where it's that it's a slightly kind of deep, husky voice. I have fun imagining what characters in any story I like sound like. Yeah, me too, and like, I do that a lot if I'm like listening to songs or anything. Like I'll hear a voice and I'll be like, oh, that sounds exactly how I would want this character to sound. So yeah, I do that a lot with music. If you do choose to do multiplayer in Java, please let us know several days beforehand. We will try our best. Sometimes with these streams, I am doing things at the very last minute. I was setting up for today's stream at 6 p.m. when it starts at, 6:15, so we're not always the most organized. Herb with a southern accent. Yeah, I can kind of picture that. I had one song, and I'm completely blanking on what it is now, where they had like... Or no, sorry, it wasn't a song. I was looking through Ted Lasso clips, and like I ended up using one for this latest short. And I used Griff for it because the whole joke was like he hates tea, and it just didn't fit for Herb because Herb would love tea. But I feel like that voice specifically would be good for Herb, and I'm not really sure why. Like, I don't picture Hazel having a southern accent or Russell having a southern accent, or really anyone else, but for some reason for Herb, I'm like, yeah, I can hear it. I was talking their ear off for the last 2 hours about feelings. Pretty lame, am I right? No. But yeah, and his good news is that he got his wedding suit today. And I got my dress a little while ago, so we're both ready for the most part. We still have so many things we have to do. Like a truly massive list of tasks we have to do. Wedding planning is hard. Control S, yeah, I gotcha. Pics? Yeah, no, absolutely not, sorry. We like our privacy when it comes to our faces. And both of us have very identifiable tattoos that would be hard to edit out of a picture, so we're probably not going to be posting pictures anytime soon. I was talking to a psychologist today and he asked about my art. I showed him a drawing of Russell and showed him your art, and he said your art reminded him of Disney. Oh, that's kind of nice. Disney has a nice art style. Okay, once again I am doing the most Luke thing possible. I'm working on a short documentary about mental health and fiction, and I'm planning on doing a short Grey Cove segment. May I have your blessing? Yeah, blessing's not necessarily needed, but it's granted. Go right ahead. Sounds like an interesting project. Jasper proposed to Marshall using a sword, who told their friends that they would only marry someone with a sword. But Jasper didn't know. Possible memory blip, but I think the sword was a claymore. Yes, that is correct. It was a claymore and a dirk, which is like a short sword. Or a very long knife, depending on how you look at it, I guess. But yeah, I have a distinct memory of telling my friends in high school that I would want to marry someone who proposed to me with a sword, and then I forgot about it, and then many, many years later, Jasper, without telling me, proposed with a sword. So it's meant to be, according to the universe. After our wedding, we'll get Marshall to sketch over one of the photos so you guys can see it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll just draw our wedding outfits for you, leave out our faces. Which potentially could be a very cool piece of art, just like hollow wedding clothes with no people in them. I did that as a painting a while ago, but it wasn't wedding. It was supposed to be like a vampire taking a selfie, so it was a phone floating in the air with clothes like gesturing like they're holding up the phone, but like completely hollow, and it didn't turn out very good because I don't know, I guess I just put in half the effort that I should have, and I don't think I ever finished it, but I thought it was a fun idea. I should probably clean this up separately. I did finally look up a picture of a power inverter hooked up to a battery so I can make it somewhat accurate. Because when I first sketched this, I was kind of guessing. How big is a battery? This is probably the right scale. I'm gonna be honest, that's one of the hardest things about making Grey Cove, is scaling everything properly, so as some people called out and I realized after it was too late, I made some of the doors too small, because I was thinking of like Hazel and Griff's height, but I wasn't considering the King's height. So that was a little silly of me, and that's something I'm gonna have to go back and fix eventually. So that's a little off, but and that can be one of the issues with trying to make an entire comic in society based on people that have dramatically different heights, but it's fine. I'll just have to go back after the fact and do some edits, and I already have a page of stuff I need to fix eventually, so it just gets added to the list. Gristle? That sounds like something you yeah, it sounds like bits you cut off of a steak. That's a terrible ship name. Are short characters harder to draw than tall characters? I don't necessarily think so. I think it's keeping in mind all of the height differences and like putting them next to each other and trying to make the frames work. So like drawing a short character by himself or drawing a tall character by himself, it's the same level of complexity. but when you're putting the short character near the tall character and they both have to fit in frame, and you don't want to have like a huge like wide shot for the scene, then that can get really hard. So like one way I get around that in the next page, which thankfully I didn't really have to change anything. I was already going to do this, but it worked out nicely for the framing, is Hazel is holding Russell up, so their faces, like it can be kind of zoomed in on their faces, which is nice. Okay, this side. So yeah, having a height difference, it mostly makes framing really difficult. But that's about it. Okay. And then I was looking at a picture of a battery, but it was a really basic looking one, which is boring. It kind of just looked like a black box, and that's it. And you know, usually they have stuff sticking up and stickers and stuff on them, so we're going for accuracy here with our cartoon Fox's bedroom. What do you think it meant, boat? I'm gonna be real, I also thought boat for a really long time, but I thought it was like they're setting sail together on a boat, which, looking back, is incredibly dumb, but that's where we're at. His ship name is the SS Beatrice. The car battery is 9.1 by 6.9 by 8.9 inches. It depends on the type of battery. They come in different sizes, as we learned recently when we had to switch out Jasper's battery and tried using one that we got from my dad and it didn't fit. I feel like if it's hooked up to a converter, it wouldn't just be like the clamps I usually see, because they're like staying on for a long amount of time. I think it's something like this, with a little cap that goes over it. I don't know. Either way, it'll look a bit cleaner if we do it this way. Don't come at me if I'm wrong. think at one point I had a brush that drew lines hollow like this. And I don't know what I did with it, but that would be really handy right now. But that's fine. Okay. That looks close enough to being a car battery. Okay, and then this would have little plugins on the side and some buttons. So I will just put some stripes on it like it has indents in the plastic, and that's good enough. Maybe Beatrice has a crow boyfriend. Wait, Night Beans, Raven, and Beatrice are in love. Alright, sure, that can be canon if you want. We're never gonna show it in the comic, but if you need to know that that is canon, go right ahead. I think I messed up the perspective a little bit right here, but we're gonna ignore that, pretend you don't see it if you do see it. Jasper, they can give each other gifts for the bird festival. Yeah, maybe in the far future, when it's springtime in Grey Cove and they have the bird festival, we could put them in the background hanging out. Okay, I drew a little toolbox underneath the table here, and at first I was gonna make it one of the classic metal ones, but honestly that might be too heavy for Russell. So we're gonna make it a plastic one. Which I guess it doesn't really matter for me to say, because it's not really gonna come across in the sketch, but whatever. The Artemis launch was a Grey Cove short reference? What? I don't know how we got there. I only looked away for a second. Because Grey Cove happens on Earth and Earth is in space. Oh, yeah. Silly me. Makes sense. Dude, plastic kills me 100% of the time. Yeah, me too. How long on average does it take to make a Grey Cove page? It's kind of hard to say. It depends on the page, because some of them, it's like every single frame needs a background type of page. And then some of them, it's like there's maybe 1 or 2 backgrounds, and for the most part the background is just like a gradient of colors. So that's a huge determining factor when we're making the pages on how long it's going to take. So thankfully this recent page, there's only like, the one I'm working on right now anyways, there's only like 2 backgrounds, and they're both like pretty simple, and they're shots that I've already done before, so I don't have to like redesign anything. I don't have to look at 10 reference images for like the right angle to figure out where things should be. So that one's going along pretty quickly. The hard part on that one was that there were more dynamic poses than I usually do. So on a really simple page, maybe like 6 to 8 hours depending. There's a lot of steps involved in making a page. And then obviously in the more complicated ones, like, the hours just go up. But yeah, there's not really any set time. I usually need a week for each page, but that's also because I do other work on the side, and like I make the YouTube shorts, I work for Red Pants, you know, like it's all adds together. Is that how I did that last time? Yeah, okay. It all adds up, you know? Artemis is actually Herb's real name. That's funny. I like how Marshall left a note to draw the map later. Yeah, I'm forgetful. It's important to leave notes sometimes. But yeah, so each page is different, and like if I have to come up with a brand new background for something, or like I have to design something, like let's say if we had a page where I had to have Russell's room and I didn't have this ahead of time, then, you know, that's about probably 6 hours of work to get this ready, because the last stream we did it in about 3 hours. Another 3 hours today and we might be done. And that's just in preparation of the page. That's not even making the actual page. The map note should actually say Control S. Good point. You're not wrong. Good point, actually do that. Alright. Is the Control S thing a joke I missed last time? Yeah. Last time I tried opening something in Photoshop, and sometimes that causes Photoshop to just crash because it hates me. So we lost the entire upstairs cleanup sketch because Photoshop crashed and I hadn't saved in a while. So now everyone is sending Control S reminders, which is actually very helpful. And thankfully we managed to get all the work I did back. So that's good. When I return, there will likely be a new couple in town. I don't know what that means, but it feels like a threat. Alright, I was drawing on this one. What was I drawing? Right. That's fine. We can merge these together. Or just set up autosave. I tried setting up autosave. They don't have one the way that like Harmony does, which I like the way they have it because like a little reminder bubble just pops up being like, hey, do you want to save now? Every 15 minutes. But they don't have that. They do. It does have an autosave thing turned on, and that's what the recovered file is. So that's how I managed to get this one back. So it puts it in like a different folder and does like an autosave every 10 minutes. I'm gonna assume we're going to find out why human tech is banned later in the comic. I don't think we have a plan on revealing that at the moment. Like, we might not. But I'm not gonna get into any more detail than that in case we do decide to get into it. Right now, it's not the main focus. Okay, what should I forgot to give her clouds. How silly of me, that's so important. Good enough. Okay, and then the lights, I'm gonna need some more cords. And eventually I'm gonna have to bring in one of Herb's antlers, which is what caused it to crash last time, so I'm hesitant to do so. Maybe I'll just pull up a picture and do my best at sketching. For Herb's antlers, I have a cheat sheet, so I make sure they're consistent in every single frame. So I took a pair of red deer antlers and I took photos of it from every single conceivable angle, and then I imported all of those into a Photoshop file and traced over all of them, so I have just a huge drawn out spreadsheet of his antlers that I could need at any angle. So if I'm drawing him, I just bring that into the scene and then trace over whichever one is the best fit. Where did I put that picture? I think it's in reference images. I have so many folders at this point. Yeah, there it is. Which is funny, I put a lot of work into making like this huge spreadsheet of antlers, and I think there's like 3 or 4 that I use, and the rest just kind of exist. And they're still helpful to have, but... actually, let's see if there's a better angle. Yeah, none of them are great. I'm just gonna guess. Ironically, I could just 3D model you the antlers and then you could have every actual real conceivable angle. Yeah, I made this before you had started your 3D modeling. So if we have characters in the future that have any horns or antlers or just really difficult things to draw over and over again, just right. I'm definitely going to be asking you for a 3D model, because that's way smarter. I was worried about posting that theory because, with all due respect, I didn't know if Jasper and Marshall would have a semi-accurate understanding of nuclear physics. Do I not seem like someone who knows everything about nuclear physics? Because you would be correct. I don't know shit all about nuclear physics. That's a correct assumption to make. Marshall is da bomb. Yeah, that's the only knowledge on nuclear physics that I have. I was so scared about that April Fool's thing. Oh yeah, you mean with Crispy's video game? I mean, they haven't actually confirmed if it was an April Fool's thing or not, so I'm still a little stressed out about it. Unless they commented and I just haven't seen it yet. Okay, I drew this a little too big. Just scale it down a little. They said the Matriarch drop-kicked the game, Marshall. Yeah, no, I saw that, but they could have been dramatic about an actual event. I'm assuming it's an April Fool's joke. I also had a mini heart attack when Jasper mentioned the post. Pretty sure it's a joke because the Matriarch is not real. Yeah, obviously, I know that. It could have just been a funny way to deliver bad news. Okay, I'll add these little things so it's screwed into the wall. I even said it's an April Fool's joke. Marshall still went, what? Yeah, no, that, I was half asleep when he told me, okay? I was still drowsy. I didn't register the first thing he said, I just heard the second thing. Yeah, exactly. To be fair, it was the first thing I told Marshall on April 1st is they were half asleep. I'm not awake until I have coffee, or it's been like a solid 20 minutes. Hey, Crispy. What you might have missed there is that you got me with your April Fool's joke. But in my defense, I was half asleep. Having a ripped up carpet feels like something Russell would have. It's just worn out over time. Okay, and then we just see the edge of his trapdoor here. I think I'm gonna leave the hinges out of it because I feel like he would make it a little more subtle than that. I'm only outlining it because I want us, the viewers, to be able to see it. But I think he would have it blend into the floorboard so it's not too obvious. He has a carpet kind of covering it, but even then I feel like he would do his best trying to make it blend in. I like the carpet water. That's just folds from having stuff on it, I guess. I don't know how else to show it. It does look a little bit like water. I'll give you that. Probably not have hinges at all, like a lift up section with a knot hole for a finger hold to lift the door. Yeah, exactly. Or even like he'd use like his claws or something and just kind of pry it up from the edge. So maybe we'll give it little scratch marks on it. And how would he attach this to the wall? Maybe it's on like a sheet of wood or something and that's attached. No, that looks done. We'll assume he bolted onto the wall properly. Okay, and one of these be hooked up to the lights. And it looks like you guys are arguing about Minecraft. That's fun. I don't have any strong opinions about it one way or the other, so I'm just gonna go back to my wires. Luke is emojing, sympathizer, and forgivable. Yes, I am. That's fine. To each their own. Hello, Andon Bailey. Thanks for joining us. Jasper, you can't give Luke a timeout for talking about Mojang. I don't know if you can cancel it, but don't. Oh, it was only 10 sec. I don't know why, but I thought it was gonna be 10 minutes, but that's 10 seconds is actually really funny. Don't do that again. Hey, Dr. Dro. We're working on Russell's bedroom. And people are fighting about Minecraft. Nice. Not looking too shabby. Let's see if I got this stuff. I think I like the upstairs more than the downstairs. Although maybe upstairs isn't the right word since it's just a shelf in a closet. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty cute. You know what? It's gonna take me forever to try and draw a perfect circle, so we're gonna cheat. And by cheat, I mean use the tools available to us. Okay, what does that? AI circles confirmed cheater. You try drawing a perfect circle or oval and you get back to me. And yeah, this is not AI. This is a tool in a program. Well, no, I guess that's what a lot of people call AI, so maybe that's not the best argument. But no, I do not use AI. Big insult. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a trash can that was pulled out of somewhere. It could be a little wonky if it was semi-crushed and straightened. Yeah, that's fair. And that's why I'm not drawing it perfectly either. I just like having a guide to use. Because then it still looks somewhat right. Okay, delete that. It's always a weird feeling when you're drawing something really basic, like crumpled up paper, and you have the thought of like, am I doing this right? Is this what crumpled up paper looks like? It's a very basic thing. It shouldn't be hard. It's kind of just squiggles. No, it looks all wrong, Marshall. The picture is ruined. I knew it. We should just scrap the whole project, start over. Can't even save it now. It's too late. Delete all of Grey Cove, the paper's wrong. There we go. Okay, now I gotta find one of my maps. Oh, let's see if I have any saved on here. That's not gonna be perfect, but it'd be nice to have like a I'm thinking this would be a map of just the town itself with some notes written on it. That feels like something Russell would have. And I don't want it to be the one that we showed earlier, because that was kind of more of a zoomed out showing the area around Grey Cove, where I think this would just be the town itself. I don't know if I have that picture on my laptop. Give me just 1 second. Okay, yeah, I don't think I have it on here. Excuse me. Just gonna take one more look. It's real cute. Call me a nerd because I sneezed? Yeah, imagine having a normal bodily function. I know, that's so embarrassing, right? Okay, yeah, I don't have it on here. It's fine. I will guess for now, and then I'll fix it later. Okay. Gates. Oh. This is just a rough anyway, so it's fine. Tacked up. Just no, I'm not looking for that map. I was looking for the map I made forever ago, of like the town layout. It's basically just a very rough map with squares where the buildings are. But I can guess. Mostly, okay. Building here, fence, fence. Ostrich stable. I made this too big. Plus the one I'm thinking, it's not even like 100% accurate. It was like one of the first layout maps I did. We're just gonna do it super duper roughly. Just know it's not 100% accurate. Shoreline kind of like this, I think. Doo-doo-doo. Y'all, during the stream, I'll finish the 64th part of my comic, which is the official halfway point. Good job, Luke. There's a tree here. You know, I'm just guessing. So if anyone tries to look at this later and be like, look, we have a reference for the map for the town of Grey Cove, this is not accurate at all. I think this would be Macon Shop. He has like a little fenced in thing for his birds. I think this would be about the market. There's some houses kind of circling a well, I think. Wagonhammer would be about there. Barracks would be about here. Here. Yeah, this is actually, I think, kind of solid for doing off the top of my head. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Map cited my ADHD brain will now proceed to stare at and obsess over it for the next 10 minutes. That's funny. I think one of these would be some kind of blueprint. Oh, so let's see if we can make something that looks like something. If anyone can guess what they think I'm trying to draw here, you won't win anything, but you will get imaginary points. Why does that drawing look like my parents fighting? That's funny. Is it one of those handprint turkeys? No, it's a little more complicated. Like I said, I'm trying to draw a blueprint for something. Wait, it's an engine? Yes! Good job, Luke. It's supposed to be an engine. I'm doing a really bad job of it, but that's what my goal is. Combustion chamber. Put some others. No, it looks good. The pistons made it. Nice. I'm getting my brother in on this, he loves cars. Oh, that's why you're quiet. You were looking for the old reference pictures. I think I have them in like my Google Drive, or they're on the my iPad, I think, because I'm pretty sure that's where I drew it. Okay. We'll keep this one. Image 2025. If that helps. Not really. Not especially, and we've also moved on from that, but thank you. I appreciate it. Check my phone. Okay. I have nothing on my phone. Thank you, Jasper. Well, thank you for joining us, Sandon. See you next time. And also thank you for joining us, SNVR1XT. See you next time. I really want the 200k YouTube short to be similar to the 100k one, but with Griffin, the pups, all holding up and saying 200k. You're gonna be disappointed then, because I've already made the 200k video. I finished it, I think, yesterday, and making a new one would take way too long, but I'll keep that in mind if we ever reach 300k. Oh, now I got the picture. Yeah, I wasn't super close, but I got it close enough, so that's fine. Where would we find that many children to voice act? Aren't there laws against child actors? Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of little cousins, but I feel like I don't talk to them enough to call up their parents being like, hey, could I put your kid in front of a microphone? And also I think a majority of my little cousins don't live in the same town as us. And that would make it more difficult. Plus, your little cousins might not be literate with the parents some of them have. No. I have very smart little cousins, as far as I'm aware. Just have us fans submit audio, that'd be fun. Maybe, we'll see. No, I have very literate aunts and uncles. Sure, I'm not talking about my aunts and uncles. My little cousins are all my first cousin's kids. Except for like one. And her parents are great, so. I put so many pages on his wall and I did not think about what they have on them. So we're making it up as we go. Oh, I see you guys are back on strong feelings about Vance. Which, yeah, we only realized a couple days ago we haven't actually name dropped him outside of the shorts, and that's one of the bad things about making the shorts is sometimes we can mix up information that we've shown. So we might, we are going to name drop him in the next page coming out. Or not the next page, sorry, not the one next week, the week after that. But we might backtrack and put his name in somewhere just so it makes a little more sense and we don't just have this nameless character walking around. Amazing writing when the characters evoke strong emotions such as rage. Good job, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we think really hard about each of the lines, and by that I mean I write out my version and then Jasper comes in and we talk about each line and hyperanalyze them and fix them, and Jasper is enormous help in fixing all of the lines and adding more subtext to each panel, or just finding cooler ways to say something. I don't understand circuit diagrams. Neither do I. I'm trying my best. And I'm drawing this way too big because the circuit diagram I'm looking at is massive. So we're gonna pretend I know... We're gonna pretend Russell knows what he's doing because he does. So if you're if you're looking at this and you're like, this doesn't look right, then you're correct. I'm looking at a picture and I'm definitely not doing this correctly, but it's fine. It doesn't help that part of this is covered. And again, I drew it too big. Whatever, this is fine. I think in circuit diagrams the lines are wires except when they're not. Hope this helps. Yep, I think you're right about that. And this one's a battery. I can figure that out. Let's delete that line. I'd have loved Hazel to tell him to F off. That would have been really fun. It's something that she would have greatly enjoyed doing. However, that would have been an incredibly dumb thing to do in the long run, because usually when you attack either verbally or physically a monarch, you get killed. And I think she realized partway through the interaction that kind of giving up was a better reaction for both her and Griff. And saving that frustration for another day. Like I said, we're gonna pretend that this makes sense. So yeah. Okay, what else could he have a diagram of on his wall? Yeah, let's do this one. I'm kind of just looking at random blueprints and trying to show the basic ideas of them. Radio frequencies? Oh, that's a good idea. It's a better idea than what I had. This group chat to this group chat. I don't know how he would have that in his bedroom. Okay, actually, well, let's put it on a different piece of paper that I can actually see properly, like this one. Doesn't matter how he cut it, He's not writing a freaking biography. He has it. That's all you need to know. Well, you got me with that one. I just noticed the words on the drawers. Yeah, he did his best, but our little guy is illiterate. Mostly. We had a regular guy who, if you asked him how he was doing, he'd say, if I were any better, I'd be twins. I think my uncle says that a lot. I don't want to say his name because, you know, we're online. But the very nice uncle that we like. Control S. Thank you. I also drew that one wrong, but that is okay. This one kind of looks like it would just be like a list of things. They look great and you could say Russell's the one who drew them wrong. Exactly. I know exactly what I'm talking about at all times. Russell has no idea. Okay, what should go on these papers? Maybe this one can have another map. It's like an old one he doesn't need anymore. Thanks for joining us, Grant. Have a good rest of your evening. Yeah, you guys are still talking about Vance. He has his reasons for acting the way that he acts, whether or not you agree with what he does or not is perfectly fine. Eventually we will give more context into why he makes some decisions, and that's all I can say about that. It may not be for a while, but eventually. It's canon that Vance is a bad dad and that he also eats his babies and the hyenas in a pig soup pot. Yep, that could be it. Are there any reference pics of Griff to the side? I'd like to study his proportions. Like a Griff ref sheet or whatever they call it. I mean, I have a character turnaround for him I made a really long time ago. I don't know where it is currently. Like, it's kind of old, so I don't remember how good it is. But I made it for when I was planning on making rigs for all the characters, and I would still like to at some point. But I just haven't gotten around to it. But I don't think I have it posted anywhere. Oh my god, Jasper. Okay, get off that subject. Okay, 2 left. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. We'll come up with something better later. He's illiterate, so it's fine. Yeah, we really do like seeing people's theories. Luke's especially, because you get like really detailed, but like you do the research when you're doing a theory, and it's appreciated. And it's really fun to see. I can't confirm or deny if any of them are correct or incorrect, but I do really like reading your guys' theory posts. At some point, the king gets swarmed by the hyenas, and the matriarch rips his head off with her bare paws out of sheer rage. That's a theory with, I don't think, a ton of evidence, but I support your thoughts. Russell looks different from Herb and Hazel because he's adopted. Oh man, you're onto us. Maybe this one can just be a picture of Hazel and him. Theory Hazel and Herb are related. I actually have a theory with mathematical proof. Wow, okay. I think that is most of everything. Let's see the floorboard here. Crazy. Grey Cove is just a series of unfortunate events in a trench coat, actually. That's funny. I do love series of unfortunate events. I had the video game from the original movie on GameCube, and I loved that game. There's a part where you have to play a piano, and you have to like click buttons in time. And it gets like more difficult as it goes, just classic gameplay type, I guess. But I just remember it being so fun. And difficult, but I was playing it as a child, so that makes sense. And it was just so gross, because like you have to like fight spiders and rats and a bunch of other stuff. And I'm sure it looks absolutely terrible by today's standard of games, but I thought it was the coolest game ever. Please don't clip me saying anything, because when I start drawing, any articulation I have goes out the window. Drawing and talking at the same time is hard, okay? It's like when Marshall used to professional artist terms. I'm doing my best. Although I was talking to my parents today because I went over for a visit, and my dad said that I should try making a like how-to drawing guide for the Grey Cove art style, and I don't know if that's something that anyone would be interested in, but maybe that's something we do one day. Of course they would, Cooper. Okay, well maybe one day I'll... So you're not just watching me during streams putting it in very inarticulate terms. I'll actually break it down into a step-by-step. Way to Patreon it? Yeah, that's why he mentioned it. He was like, you could like sell a how-to guide or something, or have it as part of a membership tier or something. I don't know. Yo, Marshall, I just wanted to say that I've been seeing your shorts of the Grey Cove characters for a long while, and I finally read your full webtoons recently, and I'm in love with your story and art. Thank you. That's so sweet. Matriarch reminds me so much of Conquest. I don't know what that is. My dad said, just say her, bro, we know your hazel, there's no point in trying to hide it. That's funny. Okay. I have to extend this wall out a little bit just because of how the antler fit there, and I don't want it to be right up against the side. Yeah, I'm actually just a speaking deer that got access to a computer. Griff room next? Possibly. If we do another room stream, his is definitely on the list. Okay. I think this is pretty solid. I want to resize so that it fits on here better. So I think I'm just gonna extend the canvas out. Let's start with 100 pixels, I think, on the width and 200 on the height, and I think that should do it. A little bit more on the height, I think. Oops, no, that's not how I wanted to do it. I don't want to move it because I have like the guidelines and everything are already set up and I don't want them to be off in case I need to use them again. Yeah, okay, that should be good. Okay, and yeah, we'll extend this out a bit, so let's make a new layer. Nope, that's the eraser. Stick to the... Yeah, someone donated $500 to us, which was insane. It was so nice of them. YouTube, of course, takes like a big chunk of it, but it was crazy nice of them, like absolutely insane. For a second, I thought it must be in like a different currency or something, because like a few times we've gotten like, oh, I don't remember what the currency was, but similar to yen, where it's like 1,000 yen is $1. It would look like a humongous amount, and I'd be like, what? And then you look at it and you're like, oh no, they sent like $30, which is still very nice, but you see a big number and you're like, that's crazy. So I didn't think the 500 was actually $500 at first. But no, it was, and we were extremely grateful, and still are, obviously. Give it like a month once I get paid a few more times, and I think I'm gonna make a donation. Honestly, don't worry about it. Like, we appreciate any donations people want to give, but like, whoa, what the heck? Sorry, everything just closed for a second there. But like, if you're not able to donate, like, that is perfectly fine. We are here for fun. We're here to make cool stuff. So like, don't sweat it. Ugh, I'm so stupid. I put this on the wrong layer. Okay, we're gonna label it so I know that I'm on the right layer. Yeah, and with like the taxes thing, I'm in the process of getting a US tax number, because with the like Canadian and US tax treaties, once I have a US tax number, then the 30% tax that the US takes will turn into 0. And that would obviously be very nice, but it's been a process that I've been in the middle of for like over a year now. So it's been a massive pain, and hopefully we will have it resolved for next year. I just gave that 50 smackaroos because I thought it would be awesome to do for creators I respect. Thank you. And yeah, like, any donations that we do get, obviously they're wildly appreciated. But like, we don't like to feel like we're just out there with our hands outstretched being like, hey, give us money. You know, we want people to be able to enjoy Grey Cove whether or not they pay money for it. Like, we want it to be an option to be able to read for free. So like, if we ever got to the point of publishing the first book, I don't think I would want to take it off of Webtoon, because I'd want there to be an option for people to read it. And like, I don't want to have it like locked behind a paywall. What do you do with the money? I'm curious. Mostly pay bills. You know? I will admit, sometimes like the coffee membership money goes towards like a video game sometimes. But yeah, for the most part it goes towards like our mortgage. Yeah, 1%er activities such as a nice chai latte. Yeah, when we're really splurging. I think the line or the coloring for this could look really pretty, especially if I do the lighting right and like have all these light bulbs lit up with that kind of nice like orange glow that they have. I think that would look really pretty, and like do some nice shading and everything for it. It's gonna take a while, but I think that would look really nice. Thanks for joining us, Wolf. Hope we see you next time. Jasper, you should consider putting some money aside for sword training. I think it'd work as a honeymoon, considering that you proposed with a sword. Very fun idea. I have recently seen ads for like sword yoga, and I was like, that's crazy. That feels like some rich people nonsense, but I'm into it. So maybe one day. If we want to make fan art and send it, where's the best place to do it? Most people like to post it on the community page, so that's a great spot. If you want it to send it to us like privately, if you didn't want it to be if you didn't want it to be on the community page, then some people send me stuff over coffee. I don't know if you have to be a member to send a message or like donate to send a message. You might be able to just send a message. I don't know how it works. But like I have gotten pictures through there before. Or I guess email me or something. I don't know. But like the community page is probably the best spot. Oh yeah, would you and Jasper be comfortable with me writing a Grey Cove AU? Not the marriage thing, that's a joke, but like if Grey Cove was a Western / Fallout New Vegas style. Yeah, that sounds cool, man. Like we've said before, we don't like to discourage other people's creativity. If you want to like write fan fiction or make fan art, like go for it. We're not going to try to stop you. We don't like to see things that are like not safe for work. But we do love seeing fan art. Like the stuff that you guys post on the community page is so cool to see. And like I can't remember off the top of my head who made it right now, but someone took like a deer plushie and put glow in the dark paint spots on it and made it like a 3D printed necklace so that it looks like Hazel, and like that was so cute. And yeah, by not safe for work, I mean specifically like sexual stuff. We don't want to see the characters doing that, you know? Like, if you want to draw them committing violence, you do you, I guess. But yeah, seeing fan art is very cool to see. It's interesting to see the impact that our characters can have on people. And I know I've said it before, but like, I've gotten messages from people saying like, seeing Grey Cove has made them want to get back into art or has gotten them interested in drawing, and like that's the biggest compliment you could give me as a creator, is that it made you want to also create things. Like that is wonderful to hear. That makes us so happy. Okay, so something like a character having a wife or something, okay. That's technically romance, but nothing not safe for work. Yeah, do what you want, man. That's fine. Okay. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna expand the canvas just one more time. Oops, nope, that's definitely not what I want. Canvas size. 7. Let's bump this up to 9. There we go, just so it's not right at the edge of the page. Marshall, how do you know so much about Grey Cove? Oh, it's crazy. You'll never see it coming. But I made it. And I remember the things that I've made. And or I write them down because my memory is actually really, really bad. Let's get this a little. Let's give this a slightly nicer edge to it. Cove Back Mountain. Brokeback Cove Tin. Let's keep making this wider. There we go. I think that's perfect. Cute. I like this a lot. I think this turned out really nice. Oops. Yeah, that's perfect. I like that. Okay, sweet. We can get started on the line art now. I'm going to take a quick break just to have some water, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. I have properly watered and saved for all the people saying it. So, let's jump into some line art. We'll bump up to a size 5, and we'll turn the smoothing on just a little bit higher. Cool, let's get started. Yeah, the Marshall has been watered. Going off of what Jasper's currently saying in the chat with no, like, personally not wanting to have a strict label on orientation, one of the first tattoos I ever got is the quote from Portrait of Dorian Gray, or Picture of Dorian Gray, one of the two. That's to define is to limit. Because same thing, I think it can be really easy to get kind of, what's the word, like tunnel vision in trying to find a label to like fit yourself into in like a box. And when you do that, it's easy to not look outside of that because you're like, well, clearly I'm just this one thing, so that is just the one thing, and we're not gonna pay attention to the other stuff that doesn't fit within that label. And like, yeah, labels can be really helpful in trying to figure yourself out, but I think in making yourself stuck to that label, then you're just in the end limiting yourself. So yeah, we're just people, you know? I think a lot of people need labels for their own self-identification. I think it's a lot harder to know yourself. Yeah, fair enough. And like, having a label is an easier way to explain it to other people when they ask. But to each their own, you know. Southpaw is really funny if you're talking about left-handed furries. Is Southpaw a thing? I've never heard that said before. Southpaw is what they call people who box with their left hand leading. Ah, that's kind of fun. Wait, does Jasper talk to you through chat, like from a few rooms away? Yes, he is currently in our living room and I'm in our office space. It makes it a bit easier for me to concentrate on the stream. When we first started streaming, we tried setting up like my iPad with like Facebook Messenger or something, but looking between like 3 screens gets kind of annoying, so it's easier if we chat through the chat. I'm gonna go rate Great Cove, New Vegas. Hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks for joining us, Luke. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time. Man, having a Russell Stuffy would be so cool. Hint, 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 hint. because he's just so cute, and I think my Hazel one needs a friend to sit with her in her horribly deformed, way too long-armed state. I was surprised by the amount of people commenting that she looks scary. I think she looks funny, her big noodle arms. I like the Hazel Herb Doodle from Russell. Yeah, isn't that cute? There's a picture of Daisy over there. It was a little uncanny, but I liked the plushie. Yeah, and she's weighted, which is really nice. I love weighted anything. I have a weighted blanket somewhere. Now that I'm thinking of it, I don't remember where I put it. I think it might be in a closet somewhere, but it's really nice. The Russell won't be weighted. That's fair. One weighted one is enough. And I think I have some cotton, like, stuffing in a bag somewhere for making stuffed animals. Because I crocheted like a fox years ago when I was trying to get into crocheting. Yeah, making the Hazel was not cheap. It's really cool though, because Jasper's mom made me a Christmas stocking, sorry. So she made it out of the leftover Hazel material, so I have a Christmas stocking that looks like it was skinned from Hazel with like the blue spots on it and everything, and I love it. It's so nice. And it was so sweet of her to make. Refried is best so it seeps out when you squeeze it. That's disgusting. Like a stress ball. I haven't tried the beans before for like a microwavable one. Does it leave like a bean smell? Because I have some, like I think I have one plush that has like a little interior bag that you can put in the microwave, and then I have one just I don't know, just a regular, that's kind of like a long noodle shaped one that's microwavable. And I find that each of them kind of has a strange smell when you microwave it for a while. One of them I accidentally microwaved right after popcorn, so it forever smells like popcorn when you microwave it, but in a bad way. The hazel plush doesn't fit in our microwave. It's huge. Look higher in the chat. I said something really funny, dear. Which part? The part about the refried beans? Because I saw that, and it's gross and funny. Surely that fit, right? No, she would not fit in the microwave. Not in our microwave, anyways. Oh, right, and her beads aren't microwave safe. She totally would fit. You'd have to, like, really... Above the refried beans in all caps. Free big sock. That's why we need to have a bunch of kids. Yeah, okay, we're not having a bunch of kids just for the free socks. Well, thanks for joining us, Penguin. We'll see you next time. Yeah, don't get Jasper started on sand and gravel and other minerals. He just took a class for that where he ate dirt. And he's been really into dirt since then. Jasper, you should pull what color the caterpillars are. I can't remember what the specific name of the caterpillars were that Jasper suggested, but I think that they're like a bright blue. Blue hornworms? Yeah. So, sorry, they've already got a color picked out. I'm sure there's something else Jasper could pull because he loves pull so much. Please color them post haste. We have to do the line art first. Nice art piece. Thank you. This is what we've got going so far. So we've got a long way to go with the line art. But we're currently working on Russell's bedroom / closet. Okay, it looks like Jasper really wants me to color the worms early. So specifically for him, I will do so. I just need to look up their color again so that it's accurate. Obviously they're blue, but I need to see what kind of blue. Actually, this is very close to hazel spots. There we go. I hope you are happy. What's this pull for? Should I pull the color of the blue hornworms? I already colored them! Oh, and both options are no. Okay. They're beautiful, Marshall. Thank you. I use the exact same color as hazel spots for them. I think it suits pretty well. And I think it's very cute that you would have pet bugs that are the same color as his sister spots. Adorable. Okay, and then I think I want the line art of all of the like pages on the walls, including like the blueprints and everything, to be a different color so that it doesn't look too busy when you're looking at it from a distance. So I'm gonna do them on a different layer for now. And it's going to be the same color for now, but then I can go over it with like a clipping mask later and change the colors to whatever I want. I don't know if anyone here likes to do digital art, but if you haven't discovered them yet, clipping masks are your friends. They're very, very helpful, and I highly recommend using them if you're into digital art. It took me a while before I actually got into using them, but they are so nice. Hell yeah, baby, drop the clipping mask lore. Yeah, so like Jasper discovered clipping masks like a week ago when he started doing digital art, and it's his new favorite thing. As they should be, because they're wonderful. Clipping masks are great. I use them to color my outlines. Right? They're so nice for that. When I post the line art on Coffee, because usually when I'm drawing pages, I'll draw the characters and I'll fully draw the background, so like I'm not drawing the backgrounds around the characters, because I find that just kind of works better, and then if I need to shift a character over later on, then I don't have to like fill in the gaps that I missed. So that means when I'm posting on Coffee, I have to put like a white backdrop behind the characters, so that you don't see the backgrounds through them. And so now I just do like a clipping mask over that white outline when I'm coloring them, and it speeds up the process so much. Oh wow, it's already 9:15 already. That's crazy. Normally we go to 9:30, so we've got about 15 more minutes here, so if you have any questions burning in your hearts, now's the time. And let's finish up his hammock before we leave for the evening. Okay, you guys are back to talking about Minecraft. I'm guessing that there is an update I missed. Would there be another town character slash background character stream soon? I do enjoy those, and this, by the way. Probably. We'll probably do another one at some point. They are really fun. We've also really been enjoying the, like, drawing characters in different art styles, and we're probably gonna do the other one that was in the poll today of taking characters from other media and drawing them in the Grey Cove style, because I feel like that sounds kind of fun. I suggest if taking other characters from the Grey Cove makeover Eleanor from Skin Deep comic. I don't think I've heard of that one, but we could definitely look it up. We're probably going to be going off of polls during that stream. Cute. Okay, Drawn Might Bean comic. Okay. Shoot, I knew this would happen. Yeah, I meant to put all the page line art onto its own thing. And I knew that I'd forget about that. But it's okay, we'll just do this. I do that a lot, and that's okay. There we go. All fixed. I see the highlighted right Marshy at me, but I don't know what I'm agreeing to. You guys have been talking about Minecraft stuff for the last like 10 minutes, and I've been only half paying attention, but I'm going to agree with my partner on this one. Yep, you're correct. I was just saying that we'll never sell our soul. Grey Cove is ours, and no Microsoft tier MFer are gonna stop us from delivering genuine content. Yeah, that is true. I think we were saying just the other day that if a company approached us and they're like, we want to make Grey Cove into an animated show, but we'll only do it if we make it in 3D, we're gonna be like, no. We created it in a 2D format for a reason. I am a 2D animator, and I love to see 2D animated shows as they're being created. And making it in 3D would not feel right, you know? Like, I can appreciate all the time and effort that goes into 3D animated movies, and like, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, but like, some of my favorite movies are 2D, and like, they're just so cool, you know? Like, if we could make one, like, in the style, or similarly to how they made Klaus, and, like, the way that they added in... It's all, like, traditionally animated, obviously digitally, but, like, they're hand-drawn. And then they used a program for adding, like, highlights and shadows and stuff like that. And, like, it's so cool, you know? And that would be my absolute dream if we were to make, like, a movie or something. Grey Cove must be in the Bojack styling. I don't know if that would exactly fit, but I would prefer that over 3D. And set in modern LA, that's too far. These hanging wires are gonna be the hardest part of all of this, I just know it. Okay, well, it's about that time. So we are gonna wrap up for the evening. Eventually, I'm sure I'll finish the line art on this piece and color it and do all that really fun stuff. We might do it on stream, or we might not. We'll have to see. We might vote for the next one as well, unlisted as an option. But yeah, we're gonna say goodnight now. If you haven't read the comic page that was posted today, you should go do that. If you want to see next week's page a little bit early, you can find it on Ko-fi. It will cost you exactly $1 to see. And yeah, I hope you all have a good night. See you next time.